and welcome to the Billowing Hilltop podcast. It's Mike here as ever. Thank you for listening to our funny little show. We hope you had a happy Halloween, and we hope both our readers in the UK enjoy Bonfire Night. Autumn is upon us. The nights are drawing in. As always, we're grateful for any ratings and reviews you might leave on your podcast app of choice. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. You can email us at hello@billowinghilltop.com. Other than that, I have no news, I have no information, so let's push on with this week's show. It's a crazy situation, but all you need is episode 63 of the Billowing Hilltop podcast, Secrets and Alcohol.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Climb every mountain. Sounds easy when she sings it like that, doesn't it? If you think about it, practically. Good evening, everybody. How is everybody?
Oh, good.
I'm with Dan. Say hello, Paul.
Hello, Paul.
Paul, say hello, Graham.
Hello, Graham.
Graham, say hello, Johnny.
Hello, Johnny.
Johnny, say hello, Lucas.
Hello, Lucas.
Lucas, say hello, Dan.
Hello, Dan.
It's like a seance.
Everything's fine, good. Hot. I mean, I'm, still annoyed, but there we are.
Oh, that. I forgot all about that.
I mean,
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I think we can safely say that the demeanour, enthusiasm, just all round everything of Garth Southportal might change mid-conversation last week. This is going to date everything. Hello, readers, of which we are now confident that we have, I think, 8. I don't think we have any Italian readers. If we do,
Willkommen.
Bastards. Willkommen.
Yeah.
Where were we? D&D. Should we play? There's a game called D&D. Should we play it?
No.
It'll never catch on.
I remember
Where were we?
Oh, I remember.
Who's going to do the first
Not me.
recap? Because the second recap's always obviously reserved for you, Mike. Nobody's going to do the recap.
It sounds like you're volunteering, Paul.
Yeah, Paul. Off you go.
Do sound
Where
like
were we? Hold on.
Off
Where
you
have we got
go.
to? Yeah.
We
Chief
are
recap
in-
monitor.
We are in the gladiatorial arena. We've just kind of done the opening ceremony, and we are in the area below the arena, which is where we're going to stay with all the other teams.
Oh, I was going to
And-
Google what a scenery was. Yeah, keep going.
And we are in the Asinaby area, aren't we? Whatever that means.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
And we've
What
done
the
it-
hell is a scenery?
And we've basically been introduced to all the teams, and we've been introduced, and there's not a huge amount going on. We've taken a little bit of a scout around down below. We know that the person, Garth Southportal, has sponsored us to be his team, and we know that he's actually looking for his sister, who was romantically involved with... I can't remember his name. What was his name?
Rachnian.
You're doing so
Rachnian,
well. Yeah.
Rachnian. And she's subsequently disappeared. So there's kind of that motivation for him to get a team in. So he wants us to go searching for her, thinking that she might be in this underground complex.
That's pretty good going. Yeah. We just had the fixtures posted
That's right.
at the end of last week.
We're going to be fighting a large frog tied to a small wizard.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, how could you possibly lose? At 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, it's 10 o'clock on the evening of what? And the games start tomorrow, first day of Misrule. And Garth Southportal, yes, has revealed his secret to you. What would you like to do next? Garth has visibly slumped since we last encountered him.
Has he?
He was full of enthusiasm when you were talking to him last week. This week he seems, I don't know.
Been watching too
Bit
much
low.
telly.
Well, I think he's just been...
Events didn't go his way, did they, really?
Yeah, he looks like he may have looked into the future, and he's not like what he's seen, basically. Don't let it go to penalties. That's what Graham said last week, by the way. He said, don't let it go to penalties. So,
Yeah.
But it did. It always does.
and it did,
Anyway,
and then
let's
it's a
not
disaster,
dwell-
and the whole
let's
thing
not
is
dwell.
wrong
I'm
and broken
over
and
it,
bad and
it's only
horrible.
football.
There are very few advantages to being a Spurs fan, but one of them
Is that
is
we're
that we're
used to it.
just, this is our bread and butter, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Never think we're going to win anything, never do win anything. Therefore,
No, we think we might win something.
Sometimes
but then we
we
don't
think we-
win that thing.
Sometimes we think we have an opportunity to win something, but I never go into those opportunities thinking this is going to happen.
But
I
surely
always
that
go
applies to
thinking,
the England team for the last
this is
50
good.
years as well. So, I mean,
D&D. Exactly.
It's all right,
Exactly.
Crossover there from a
D&D.
minicamp
D&D.
fan. Car 5, car 5.
what?
D&D.
D&D.
Let's talk about football some more.
Right, your football.
So what do you want to do? It's 10 o'clock at night. The Scenery, which by the way is a convent or religious
You've changed the
establishment.
map. We were on a different map last week.
Yeah, we were on the different level. We were on the Scenery level, and we are seeing the
That's fine. I can put you on the
Ah.
Scenery level. Sorry, I
second
was just
level.
messing
Well,
about.
we're going to
with
want
the-
both. We're going to want both levels. So
I know we
That's-
are. We're going to go Teatro della Mente.
We're going to spread out. now.
Whatever it
yeah,
is.
but allow me to
Teatro degli Spiriti.
recap my summary. So on
Yeah.
the Scenery level,
Yes.
right, which we're looking at now,
Yes.
there
On
is
our large map,
There are
readers.
basically two things to investigate, maybe three, that look like they might lead somewhere. Bearing in mind that we're looking for some underground. What are we looking for?
Well, there we go. You see.
We're looking for Garth's sister.
Not only, no, we're not only. There's a there
Anything against
Basically, he's
Ratnian, to be
got
honest.
a no. What's he got? He's got the what are the papers called, Mike? I forget the name of the papers.
The papers are called the Apostolic Scrolls.
The Apostolic Scrolls. So somewhere under here it is a place where he's going to try and use those scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
That's certainly Eligos's suspicion.
Yeah. So
Yes.
we want to see what activity is. We want to kind of work out what activity is going on in this place, which is on this level that we're on is not going to be where it's at. Where it's at is probably the level up, I would assume, where
Good
we'll be able
question.
to see what people are doing.
How well do you remember your journey and the general setup here? Do you want me to quickly zip you through it or not?
I think that might be handy.
There's not much to go through. Oh, you were taken down from the floor of the arena on a lift
Yeah, that's right.
into a sort of an understructure which seemed to be like a orbital ring road that you were taken around a part of. For the purposes of our poor dear reader who can't see this map, let's say that you were taken down at 12 o'clock and walked around to 3 o'clock. When you did so, you could peer down corridors that headed into the hub of the circle that you were walking around, and you could see that there was another circular corridor that seemed to sort of circle around a little hub. Yes? If you think about it as a clock, you're going around the edge of the clock. If you think of the hands of the clock on the little hub, the little pivot for the hands of the clock, it's almost like there's a little corridor around that. And then you were taken down a set of steps to this level, and this level, that circular structure is echoed, and Alessandra had a quick look at that, but it looks like it's unused. It looks like it's exactly the same. It looks like it shadows the level above you, this wide orbital corridor, but there's nothing in it. And then you're in a natural cavern that's been turned into a little domicile for the competitors. Alessandra also padded off after some competitors who wandered down a passageway that leads away from where you're being domiciled. There was another natural cavern that had been carved out into some kind of occupied area with little buildings and sculptures and stuff. All disused, all very old, and it looked like it's an area where some of the gladiators, maybe ones who are more familiar with the environment, were using to sort of get themselves a bit of space to meditate. There was a pond in there, a pool. You heard a rumour that pool had been plugged somewhere to stop people getting through it and getting access to an area where ghouls lurk.
Are we supposed to start exploring this level then?
I don't want to steer you.
Well, it's
But by
10 o'clock
what,
in the
sometime
evening.
10
Let's go.
And by 10 the following morning or something, we have to be in the combat arena.
9 in the morning is when your bout starts. You suspect there's going to be sort of prep and pre-whatever. So the first fight of the day is at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right, so we can explore for 2 hours.
Yes.
Explore, take damage, and then for 2 hours.
Well,
Leave it
anything
up.
that then allows us enough time to have a long rest before we end up in our combat arena, yeah? We need to rest for 8 hours before 8 in the morning.
That seems sensible, yeah.
Do I think there's any rats around here that I can befriend?
Oh, I don't know. I'll roll. Seems to be a fair way of doing things. I'll roll on a d6. 1 to 3, there are vermin. 4 to 6, there are not.
There's always vermin.
They obviously keep the place fairly clean on a 4, I'm afraid. They you don't find any rats. Sorry.
So what do we want to try
The
and
dice
do?
has spoken.
I have a 4th level invisibility spell. I only have one of them. I only have one
Mhm.
4th level spell,
Mm-hmm.
which does 3 people.
What do you suggest?
Well, I think that we should get the lay of the land and see what's going on. I'd like to see upstairs. I'd like to see. If you think about it, the floor upstairs, which sits underneath the arena, is all the kind of support mechanism for the games and the arena itself. You know, where all the pets are kept, I'm assuming, and where the scenery is maintained and all that kind of
You
stuff.
saw the beast quarters. That was one
Yeah.
of the passages you got a quick glimpse down. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's more than just the beast quarters. So somewhere down there, if they're going to
Oh,
be
yeah.
preparing for something, it will be probably on that floor, I would have thought, until they're ready to do the thing. But that pool makes me wonder if there's a way through down there that we're looking for something underneath, are we not?
Yeah, I was thinking of heading
So
back to the pool.
so what I'm suggesting is that we try and scout invisible without and get an idea of what's going on.
I can also do
that
long
floor.
strider, lasts an hour. That means I can move pretty quick, and buggy can move pretty quick as well.
What level can you do
It's
that
just
at?
a first level spell. Can only do it on myself or on somebody else.
Can you do it at second level?
No.
You only have first level spells.
Yes.
So
Garth takes his leave from you. He's, as I said, he's a shell of a man. He says, I good luck if you do explore around underneath the arena. The best of luck to you. Just be careful. Just be quiet. Don't crash around like an 8-year-old with a bag of bells. Yeah. And don't forget that whatever you do, you must be ready for your bout at 9 o'clock. The wheel of days turns, does it not? For the time being, at least.
So in bed by 12.
I'll be back in the morning, just to give you a bit of support as you get prepared for your bout. Till then, bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Garth. Better luck next time, eh? I think... Should we go and investigate this pond
Well,
thing?
hang on. Can we just talk about stealth checks for a second?
Yeah, I've got advantage and +9.
You've got +9, so you're going.
Yeah.
Anyone else with good stealth?
Stealth. I got +3.
+3.
So we've got 3 people with +3.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of 8-year-olds with bags of bells.
Well, certainly you. And do we want to send more? Why don't we just send you alone?
I'm happy with that. I
It'll
prefer
be
not to have
quicker
the...
and easier, and you're better at it.
I'd far prefer not to be laden with a bunch of 8-year-olds with bags
Well,
of
I can do
bells.
pass without trace.
How does that one work?
Concentration up to an hour. A veil of shadows and silence radiates
Plus
from
10
you.
plus 10 on
Plus
stealth.
10 on stealth checks, yeah. But obviously you have to all be together within 30 feet of you.
How many targets?
For the duration, each creature you choose within 30 feet of you, including you, has plus... So it's, I guess, all of us if we're within 30 feet. A creature that
Blimey.
receives
Then do
the
we have to
bonus
continue
leaves-
to be in 30 feet of you?
Yeah.
I think you have to be within 30 feet of me.
Which,
Right.
yeah, if you all split up and ran different directions, I can't see that would be logical.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that's a good.
Well,
that's a great spell.
we could do 2 groups. We can send Alessandra off on her own because she's stealthy on her own, and then the rest of us could go off and investigate something else with the
Nothing
pass
like
without
opening up
trace.
2 fronts.
Well, we're doing that anyway if we send you off on your own.
We are going to do the theatre of the mind. We're not going to count squares. The main thing is you tell me how you're going to set yourselves up for your exploration, and we'll play it through without getting into the,
The minutiae.
if you tell me that there's a spell that lasts an hour, we're not going to start bean counting on that.
The minutiae comes into combat.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I think whilst we're down here, we can have a look at the pool. I'll have a look at the pool.
Yep.
Alessandra's already taken a bit of a scout around, but I don't think she really did much of a detailed
I
scout
think-
around.
You learned the rumour about the pool when you returned.
I think we need to be
After you
quite
return.
focused, because we basically only got a short exploration window.
Yeah.
Yep, and we don't know that we're going to have another one, because we don't know that we're necessarily going to win our bout.
The
although we
wisdom of Graham.
It's just astonishing, isn't it?
So I think we need to be...
Blue Slard is a mighty big creature,
So, Graham, wise one.
Comes with a challenge rating to match.
I don't know.
But doing the pool doesn't necessarily contradict that. In fact, the more we can scope out in the shorter period of time, the better, potentially. So from a gameplay perspective, it would just be easier to follow one thing at a time. So we could just start with Paul and see what happens there. Because we're going to have to do it at some point, so that's the one thing that we know.
So we don't necessarily need to sneak around, do we? Is it dangerous down here?
I'm thinking
Good
of going
question.
upstairs.
Very good question. Yeah.
I think we just run round as fast as we can.
So, Dan, you want to go into the area below the actual arena.
I want to scope out that floor, yeah.
You're 2 levels down.
Oh,
yeah.
1 level down is this understructure with all of the support services and mechanisms and so forth, which you've only glimpsed at.
Well, let's go there.
And
Your
then
thinking is that's the most likely place for whatever the scrolly thing is going to be.
If they're making preparations,
Yeah.
or maybe they've stored the scrolls, I suspect there's something to find on that floor.
Okay, well, let's go and do that then. So we're looking for the apostolic
There could
scroll.
be something fine on
It's
this.
a hunch. It's just a hunch. It's not.
Just very
not based
quickly to
on
Johnny's comment, because Johnny raised an interesting question. There are guards, okay? Okoral obviously runs the guards. The guards are sort of marshals, like event marshals and guards at the same time. Down here in the Cenobite, there are a couple that mill about. They kind of chat with the competitors. There didn't seem to be any attention to anybody leaving the Cenobite and heading off down that passageway towards the pool, for example. So you don't know that there would be any requirement to be super stealthy, super sneaky, whatever, unless you didn't want to be seen there. That's a separate question. As for going up a floor and what the environment up there would be like in terms of security or where you are and aren't allowed, you just don't know.
Let's just go up there. Let's stop
Can I
floating
ask
around.
a silly question?
Always.
I mean, I'm sort of middle-aged now. I've never heard the word Cenobite. What the hell is it?
A little earlier, Johnny, I read you the definition from the Chambers Dictionary.
Oh,
It's a
must have been asleep.
conventual, as in convent, establishment or religious community. So
There you go.
I think it means a sequestered religious place, which is the idea that the gladiators, anyway.
Like
Is
I'm
it a
happy.
religious place?
If only we could speak to Tito Leati, who wrote this adventure, but we can't.
Anyway,
Let's go upstairs.
Oh, and Richard Pett also wrote bits of this adventure, Graham, one of your favourites.
Oh, yeah.
that's a valid point. Do we need to sneak upstairs, or do we?
No, let's
You
just
don't
go.
know.
Let's just go.
I think you're more likely to be able to move around if you're invisible and sneaky. So, Lucas, can you do your thing on Paul, your Longstrider?
Yeah, that's a good idea. If we're going all in for the Paul thing, then we should stack him up with all sorts of stuff.
Well, some of us can sneak, some of us can move around quickly.
But you're not that stealthy. So,
No, but I can explore very quickly.
also, you could lend your boots to Alessandra.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
now there's an idea.
Then she'd really be able to zip around.
Yeah.
I'll write it on my character sheet, Jobs.
Just while she explores. Just while she
Yeah.
explores, lend her your boots.
Boots of the East Wind.
No.
For the good of the group and our mission.
Captain Buggy.
You won't even do that for the good of everybody else.
Well, anyway, let's move on. It's 10
no,
o'clock.
let's not move on. No. I want to know if you will.
No.
You won't.
No,
You
I
won't
can
do
move
that for the
quickly.
good of
I
us.
can move quickly. I
But
can
not silently.
How many years of D&D?
Yeah, but
Not silently.
I can just move around. We don't need to be stealthy, do we? We're just moving around the arena, around the Undercroft or wherever it is.
That's a fair point.
The key thing here is you don't know. It could be that you could run around. The faster you move, the more you see. Nobody challenges you. People wave as you go past. You get to look around, do whatever you want to do. Or it could be that you walk up there and the first thing that happens is you turn a corner and someone says, "Where do you think you're going?" You just don't know.
Well, we can go and ask the guards, can't we?
You could, yeah.
Alessandra,
Can we get?
Or there's the kitchen staff. There's the.
Can we go and get a tour of the upstairs floor? It looks really interesting.
Alessandra's just going to go upstairs.
You're going to.
I'm going
the
with you.
guards.
Yeah. So we'll walk up to the lift.
Competitors are not meant to access the understructure. I'm afraid that's off limits.
Off limits. Can we get
Yes.
a tour? Looks really interesting.
We don't offer any kind of. Oh, I mean, you're asking. You're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, I know. Who do I ask?
You ask. You have to ask my supervisor. Her name is. Hold on. Her name is Clump Snuffanoots, and
Easy for you to say.
I'm wearing rented teeth, and she isn't on until the morning. But I don't think we do tours. No.
Oh, all right then.
Really, it's all down to Ockerall, Rachni, and Tanabir is the person to really talk to if you've got a problem you want to take it out with him.
Okay. No, that's all right. You're good.
I can move insanely fast.
They're not barring your way in the corridor like
Was
none shall pass kind of way.
No, I understand.
was Talabir the guy that spoke to me?
Talabir is the steward of the games.
Was he the guy who spoke to me?
No, that was... Well, you're not certain who spoke to you, but your sense from speaking to Garth was that figure that materialised behind you in the arena was somebody called the Twisted Prince. It was like a kind of minor godling.
Ah, that was it. Yeah,
Somebody
Twisted
not
Prince,
to be
yeah.
trifled with, and a being that if they take interest in you, that's generally regarded as not good news.
And who was he interested in? Graham.
No, it wasn't me.
Parker.
Parker.
as ever.
You described that person to Garth Southportal, who visibly paled and seemed rather off-put by the fact that such a sort of scary entity had taken an interest in one of his competitors. Talabir is the steward. Talabir, who introduced the teams. That is Talabir.
So talk to me about the mechanics of the lift. How are they operated?
The lift that took you down from the arena floor.
No, the lift, the way down here, past the guards.
From here, you walk downstairs. It's a staircase.
Stairs. Okay, so
A set of stairs that lead out of the
fine.
scene B.
Yeah.
And there's nobody in your way. You can just walk up them. Nobody's stopping you.
No.
The guard that you talk to is wandered off. He's not interested.
I'm going to walk up them.
Let's go up.
Alessandra's going to walk up the stairs.
He's not going to take a bullet for the register.
Do you want the invisibility, Paul?
No.
I'll go
Alessandra's
with her. Alessandra, I'll go with her.
Alessandra and Uncle Buggy are heading up the stairs to the level above.
Yeah.
You come out in a hall that you've been in before. It's at some scale. It's kind of irregularly laid out. It's not a straightforward piece of geography. Lots of stairways and passages. There's a passage leading off away, effectively heading out, as it were, from the circle into the darkness. But there you can see a couple of Ockeral's guards standing in the shadows. There's a large statue in this chamber of a warrior, and then you have access to this orbital corridor that runs all the way around the understructure. You've also got a corridor. There's nobody here, by the way. There's nobody to see. It's all quiet. Maybe you think 10 o'clock might be the sort of watershed hour, by the way. It feels like everything's quietened down. They've stopped serving food. The banquet was over a while ago. And there's nobody at large here. It's quite dark. I mean, there's the occasional lantern. It looks like somebody's gone round and snuffed 2 in 3 lanterns. There's a corridor in this main hall behind the statue as you've come up your stairs that leads into the center of this circle, and it's there that you can hear the growls of large beasts and smell their spoor and their scent and whatever. Where do you want to go?
Do a beast sense.
Tell me about beast sense.
You touch a willing beast for the duration of the spell. You can use an action to see through its beast's eyes, hear what it hears, or speak with animals. Maybe do speak with animals.
Okay.
Comprehend, verbally communicate with beasts for the duration. That's 10 minutes.
Can you two give me a perception check quickly?
Add 2 to this. 12.
I get a 9.
9 and 12. 12's good enough. Uncle Buggy, you hear the echo of a footstep, and your sense is that it's come from a long way away. The acoustics of this orbital corridor must be kind of freaky, but definitely you heard a footstep, a distant footstep, the sound of which has been carried to you through the crazy acoustics of the orbital passageway. There's somebody at large. They're just not near you.
I'll do a speak with animals.
Okay.
It says ritual only.
It takes you 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Yep. Are you going to cast this speak with animals here?
Where are you going, Paul? Is there somewhere I can sneak off to?
The thing that intrigues me is this dark corridor with a couple of guards on it.
Yeah, I mean, they're about 30 or 40 feet down, and you can stand in this hallway in such a way that they can't see you. I'm assuming that's what's happened, but you've glimpsed down there and you can see them. They didn't seem particularly interested that you were there.
Okay, maybe they're guarding, stopping people getting in from, like, the sewers or something like that.
Good question.
Johnny, do you want to, if you want to talk to the animals, if you want to do your Dr. Dolittle,
I just think it might be like the Roman arena where they just surprise everybody by releasing animals at the last minute when everybody's not expecting it. I wonder if animals can tell me that, like we defeat the people that we're supposed to be fighting, and then at the end of it they spring a trick on us by releasing the animals on us just to please the crowd or something. I don't know.
Although we might know about that, but why don't we go towards the animals?
Worth knowing, though.
Yeah, why don't we go towards the animals?
You're going to pad down that passageway towards the animals? You reckon if you're tolerably stealthy, you could make your way round this hallway and you could use the large statue to mask your exit into the animal corridor from the guards in the mysterious corridor. So why don't you give me a couple of stealth checks?
Rolling at advantage. I rolled 12 and a 10, and rolling really badly today.
9 and a 16.
Okay, that's fine.
A 19.
Okay, so you sidle round this hallway. You slip behind this big statue, and then you've got this view heading towards the center of the circle. The corridor that you're looking down has got gates on either side of it. Pens, 6 pens with animals in on either side. And you can hear the kind of sound of Johnny. You can hear the sound of large creatures snuffling about. There's no roaring or bouncing around. There's nothing's throwing itself against the cages or anything like that. What do you want to do?
Are you able to cast a spell then?
Yeah, you can. If you want to hide there,
Might be on a statue or
make
something.
a quick dice roll. Okay. Yeah, you're undisturbed.
It says the knowledge and awareness of many beasts are limited by their intelligence, but at minimum, beasts can give you information about nearby locations and monsters, including whatever they can perceive or have perceived within the past day.
Yes.
You might be able to persuade the beast to perform a small favour for you at the DM's discretion.
Yeah, that's all fine. So these beasts, they live, I have to say, a pretty sheltered life. They are taken out of these cages. I mean, I don't know what the intelligence is. There are a couple of leopards, there are 3 boars, and there's a lion. There aren't 3 lions, which is a shame. They live a sheltered life in their cages. Their handlers are kind to them. Do you want to pick one?
I'll pick the lion.
The lion, okay. So the lion used to have was with another lion, and that other lion one day was taken up to the arena and never came back. And this is a source of deep sorrow for the lion that you're speaking to.
Oh.
The lion has been taken up to the arena a couple of times. They're taken up on it describes it to you in the terms that it can, but you understand that what it means is the lift. And there are fights against the 2-legged creatures. It's always chained. Sometimes it's there. It thinks just to sort of stand and roar, and it's not allowed to fight things. Other times it's allowed to fight things. And then it's brought back, and the leopards and the boar, it doesn't mind the leopards. It doesn't like the boars, who are just disgusting, smelly creatures.
And the other animals have the same story.
The thing about the boars, he says, is they've got no sense of pride, unlike us lions.
It's terrible.
I'm here all week.
Try the veal. The boars, you get the same story. Basically, they live in these cages. They're looked after well. They're fed well.
Yeah, so they're just gladiatorial type.
That's all they do.
Monster things. Okay.
They never get taken anywhere else, obviously, in the understructure, because they're giant animals.
Can I persuade a beast to perform a small favour for you?
Yeah, sure. How does that work? You make a
Just
charisma
DM's
check?
script. I suppose so, yeah. Or,
Well, what's the nature of the favour?
if you're released and we're in the arena, I'm in the arena, please don't attack me
Yeah, give me a
and
charisma
my
check.
companions.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a terrible charisma.
Well,
Okay,
Give me a roll.
It's, 16.
oh, 16. He looks at you, the lion, and says, "You are too small a morsel for me to bother with in any case. You smell like the boars."
Yes, thank you very much.
You think you've been successful.
I'll try with the balls. 15.
We don't eat funny little things like
And
you.
maybe the leopard. 16.
Oh, seldom have we seen such an attractive, tiny, furry little creature. I certainly wouldn't be eating you. Your hair would get caught in my teeth.
It's like Peter and the Wolf.
Yeah.
I'll give them some rubbish about. I'll try and get them out at some point.
Don't ruin everything. Okay,
Well-
fine. So you tell them all that you're going to free them. That's
Well-
not a hostage to fortune now, is it? Okay, where are we going to next? So you could go past these beast cages and you'd be in the little orbital corridor that
Let's keep
leads
going,
around
yeah.
the centre. Okay. Can you give me a couple more stealth checks and a couple more perception checks? Paul, don't get cross with me. We're going to abstract this.
No, that's fine. I'm happy. Stealth check
I
at
rolled
28.
a 1. Natural
On your
1.
stealth check, okay, so you make a crashing great noise.
I'm nowhere near
Oh,
him.
can't you re-roll ones? Friend guys.
Oh, yes, I can. Yes. Sorry. 20.
Right, okay, and perception checks.
Another one.
Perception.
Stealth. 6.
Okay. Well, you're either very unperceptive or very unquiet. It's rather difficult to tell.
I've got a perception of 23 and a stealth of 28.
So your high perception checks, you can detect the sound of this movement, this echoing movement. You can hear it progressing. What you think is happening is that there is 1 or 2 individuals walking around the understructure.
Mm-hmm.
Impossible to place where they are because of the acoustic qualities of the understructure,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't seem to be nearby. But they do seem to be moving. And as for your stealth checks, they weren't necessarily fantastic, but you don't think you've made any noise that gives you away. And you're in this corridor that runs around the hub of the circle. What would you like to do?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself some distance from Bugger Off just so that I can be quieter and stealthier.
Yep. And would you like to go clockwise or anti-clockwise?
I will go anti-clockwise, please.
Okay, so you pad your way around this corridor. We'll pick up with you in a second, Bugger Off.
I'll just follow
It doesn't
Paul.
take long before you've turned 1 quarter, as it were. And when you do, you're looking back through the workshops that you saw from the other side when you came down in the lift.
Yeah.
If you go on another quarter,
Yeah.
you reach the corridor which is opposite the one with the beast cages in it, leading away radially out from the centre. That corridor, that looks like you found some kind of jail cells or prison cells.
Okay.
There's not much to tell you. I mean, the setup is exactly the same as the animal cells, except there are fewer of them. There are 4. And the corridor at the end doesn't seem to reach the outer orbital, so it's shorter than the corridor that you originally walked down. But it seems to turn off to the left. You can hear from that direction the occasional quiet piece of movement, like somebody busying themselves about with a task or something, perhaps clearing up or sweeping, that kind of thing. There is a little passageway before the cell block off to the right that doesn't seem to have any particular function. Do you want to keep going round the middle, or do you want to go down that corridor?
I want to go down that corridor, but if Bugra's following me, I'm going to motion for him to stop following me and just stay
well,
still.
We're going to pick up with Bugraff. So Bugraff, Alessandra just padded off around this little corridor. What do you want to do? Do you want to follow her? Do you want to go the other way, or do you want to hang where you are?
I'll go the other way.
Okay, so you're going to go clockwise. You pad your way around 1/4's worth of this inner passageway, and you immediately realise that you can hear low voices. There is a corridor. If you're working your way around this thing and you've come in at 3 o'clock, there's a corridor heading down at 6 o'clock, and there's light spilling out from it, and the sound of voices sounds like they're murmuring, chatting away, no state of agitation, a relaxed kind of conversation. You can detect the smell of food, rather delicious smell of cooked meat, and you can hear the occasional clink of a glass. But I'm not thinking that you've, popped into that corridor. I'm saying that you've heard that before you get there.
We were going to try and poison the other competitors, weren't we?
You speak for yourself.
No, sorry. I'll head towards the voices that.
Well, you can peek your head round the corridor.
So I can hear what they're saying.
Yeah, you're looking in on a guard room, and you're fortunate. You can't see any guards in there, but you can hear them. To your right, you can see the foot of somebody just peeking out into your view. Somebody who must be sitting at a table to your right, and you can hear a low murmur of conversation. Clearly, you've got a couple of people, 2-3 people. They're obviously eating and drinking and chatting. On the other side of this chamber, you can see a little door. That door looks like it's quite heavy, not in a sort of secure way, but in a sort of insulated, dampened kind of way.
So there's something interesting behind that door.
Possibly. I'm saying that you just popped your head round the corner and you've not really made any noise. Do you want to keep going round this central little hub, or do you want to head off down this corridor to where the voices are and the people are who are eating and drinking?
I'll head off towards the voices.
Okay, so you
I'll
can
try and get close
way.
enough to hear what they're saying without them noticing me.
So give me a stealth check if you're creeping up the corridor towards them.
4.
Oh, okay. So that's hopeless.
That's hopeless.
You make a bit of a noise, and one of the voices goes, "What was that?" What would you like to do? You can run for it, or you can stand your ground.
I'll stand my ground.
A guard comes wandering out. He doesn't look in a state of particular agitation. He's got a beer glass in one hand, and he's got a chicken drumstick in the other. He sort of wanders out. He looks, and he just looks straight at you, and he's like, "What are you doing here?"
One of the competitors.
Well,
It's
you shouldn't
the right
be up
way,
here.
isn't it? No? Why not?
No. You shouldn't be up here. You're
No,
not allowed in
I
the
was told to go.
understructure.
I was told that I needed to see someone on the other side of that door over there, and I'll start
What,
walking
that door?
towards it.
You just stop exactly where you are, sir. 1 second, let me just... and he drops the chicken drumstick. He pulls out a sword. He looks over to his left, and he says, "We need to get the others. We have to work out what's going on here." You're saying... He starts sort of almost laughing. You're saying you have an appointment with the person behind that door. Is that what you're saying, sir?
That's correct.
Oh, yes. Who was that person? Do you know their name, sir?
I'm sorry, it's confidential. I was told not to mention them.
Confidential.
I don't think they'll be very pleased if you delay me.
Right, okay. I mean, we are talking about you going into my bedroom, sir. So, I just wanted to absolutely make sure that you were talking.
Oh, it must be another
baloney.
secure door I'm thinking about. Sorry, beg your pardon.
Right. Well, anyway, let's walk you back to where you should be. You should be in the Cenobi, sir. You fighting tomorrow? You probably need some sleep. He starts ushering you away. Are you going to move, or are you going to...
Yeah.
Okay, well, he starts chivying you back. A mate of his comes out, and she also draws her sword, and the two of them chivy you back round this little orbital corridor, back past the beasts, back to the main hallway, back down the stairs, and they stand there and watch you walk down the stairs. Alessandra, can you give me a stealth check?
Yep. 1 moment.
Don't give me anything awful.
I shall give you a 28.
Okay, so You are not detected by these people as they come out. What would you like to do?
How high are the ceilings?
12 feet.
What are the walls made of? What kind of?
It's heavy stone blocks, the whole thing.
Climbable or not really?
Oh, I mean, you'd have thought you could climb it. It's not impossible. I mean, you're only going to be 12 foot up maximum, though, which is not...
so you're still visible, aren't you, I suppose?
Yeah, you're just a great big person sticking on the wall like a giant picture.
I'm at the corridor near the cells, aren't I?
You're in the corridor, yes, the corridor with the cells.
Yeah.
You can smell that there's somebody in this, at least in one of the cells.
I'm going to head towards it. Again.
Give me a perception check.
I want to do... Yeah, I'll give you a perception check, but I'll also want to do a stealthiness. So 17 on the perception.
Okay, so you can hear a kind of muttering from the cell the furthest down on the right. Mm-hmm. But let me describe your little journey towards it, if that's what you're going to investigate.
Natural 20 on the stealth, so 29.
So you make as much noise as a cloud. You pad down this corridor, and there are cells to your right and left, but the first thing on your right is a little passageway that leads off to an odd door that doesn't look like a cell door or anything. It looks like a kind of smaller door. It looks older than everything else. Give me another perception check.
Oh dear, natural 1. I get a 7.
No, okay, fine.
Total.
And then if you pad further down the corridor to the end, you pad past 3 empty cells, and then the last cell on the right has got a person in it. It looks like a human. He is in rags, and he is muttering to himself. Do you remember the tax collector in the Sodden Hold? We're in the sort of same territory.
Yeah.
He is not unconscious, though, like that chap, but he is sitting, he's kind of rocking backwards and forwards, holding onto his knees, and sort of going, and then the birds came, and then everything to think, and then I had, and every now and again it was a green one.
Okay, we're not going to get anything from him, are we?
He looks at you a bit and sort of goes, oh, give me another perception check. Or an insight check.
16.
There's a weird moment when he's looking right at you, and then you realise that he hasn't heard you and he can't see you. It's just coincidence.
Okay.
And he just keeps on wibbling away to himself. Just quickly then, Alessandra's off doing what she's doing. Uncle Buggy, your frog march back to the others. The others, you've had a little bit of time while Alessandra and Bugraft have been off exploring.
I think we should go and explore the pool while they're off exploring.
Okay, well, let's catch up then. Let's kind of join the timelines.
I'm up for that.
All
Are we doing it stealthily, or are we just going to go over there?
Nobody cares where you go down here. Friend guide storyteller, I wouldn't worry. You can follow the winding passageway to this area that's called the Titan's House that Alessandra looked at last time. It's a large chamber that looks like it was once divided up into dwellings. But, I mean, it's a long time since anything stood here. The sense that Alessandra got was that perhaps you were looking at something that had become subsumed, as in it was once a surface structure that is now below the earth. That's how old we're talking. The pool is in the southwestern corner of this chamber. There are a couple of other gladiators around, and they are meditating, or a couple of them are practicing. A couple of the Fortunati are dueling with daggers, and they're really quite zippy and kind of capable looking. They don't really pay much attention to you apart from they're concentrating on their workout. One of them might raise a sort of friendly hand. They seem to be sort of decent people. They're not actually sighted as you skirt the edge of this giant chamber, and you're looking at this pool that's stretching away from you. It's the shape of, I would say, a guitar plectrum, with the fat end you're standing at, and then it tapers away into the southwest. It seems placid. There's a large boulder island poking up from the middle of it.
I got nothing with water. I've got no spells that help with water.
Don't think I have either.
But there was... I wonder if I've got any features.
I could know water walking.
Yeah, but we need to go down into the water, don't we? What are the rules for diving down, Mike?
Well, I mean, they're just so gentle as to not really bother with. It's a number of minutes equal to your constitution modifier, something like that. What's your constitution modifier?
My constitution modifier is +4.
Okay, so you've got 4 because of your amulet of whatever it is. Yeah. Okay, so yes, so you've got 40 rounds of aquatic activity before you have to start worrying.
I can't do any spells when I go down there.
No, you don't know how deep the water is.
No. Graham, why don't you go down?
Why don't I get down?
Yeah.
Parker's your idea to do it.
Well, I wanted to see what was over here.
Parker, what are you going to do?
Parker's prepared to go down.
Well,
there.
you are green. You're pretty much a frog.
Camouflaged against the water. Does somebody want to give me a perception check?
What, to spot Parker?
Are we doing the
If you're regarding the pool,
whether you
give me a
could-
perception check.
7.
Mm-hmm.
8.
Oh dear.
Fine.
No.
Looks like a completely normal pool.
looks like a completely normal pool?
Graham, you haven't made a perception check.
Oh, yeah, I can make perception checky. 12.
It wasn't anything particularly sensational, Sessions, but you think that the pool is being filled and emptied from somewhere. It's not stagnant. It's not like a kind of crystal clear, you can see the bottom or anything like that. But it's not stagnant. It seems relatively fresh.
Right. And are we playing the swapping out of spells?
No.
Are you sure about that?
Well, it's a house rule, and we've discussed lots of house rules over time. We haven't introduced any house rules as we've entered Book 5.
I don't recall ever discussing this one.
No, we haven't.
The one we actually play.
Well, yes, but it's still a house rule.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's, a fair whatever. I think the swapping out of spells is
We're at the start of the
something.
book, really, aren't we? I mean,
We
seems
are,
an
but
appropriate.
Seems an incredibly
So-
convenient time to be introducing a rule whereby
Yeah,
you can
it
just
just
decide
seems
to pick
appropriate.
spells that you hadn't thought of. Let's not get into that. Let's not get into that discussion because it's going to take us nowhere.
All right. Shame. Parker's going to go swim down.
I'll scoop up a cupful of the water in my hand and take a smell. Doesn't smell brackish or
No,
anything
it
like that.
smells. It doesn't smell like Evian, but it's not. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's North
It's
London
not
tap.
stagnant. It's
Yeah.
not rank. Give Johnny, half an hour with it in his machine.
And some soda stream.
Something that you could pretend was beer. Yeah.
So how quickly does it, or how steeply does it
Fairly
go down
steeply, and
from
it's
the
a 10-foot
shoreline?
deep pool. You find yourself settling on the bottom. You can start paddling your way around should you wish.
Yes, I'll do that.
You learn a few things. Let's abstract this. It takes you a couple of minutes of swimming around, and it's not insignificantly
We'd
sized.
swim down to the pick end of the plectrum.
It's about 40 feet by 80 feet,
Mm.
so it's the size of a sort of decent swimming pool, but not like an Olympic or anything like that.
Yeah.
First of all, you find an ingress and an egress
Mm-hmm.
under the water level, pretty much equidistant on either side towards the tip of the plectrum. And at the very tip of the plectrum, you find what looks like something that's been placed and mortared, a sort of stone plug. So the very tip of the lake, under the surface of the water, it looks like there may have once have been another way into this lake that has been sealed off.
Okay.
Ah. Can I move it?
You can try, yeah.
I'll give it a go.
Do.
What do I need? A strength check?
Yes. Well, give it a go. I mean, if you want to try and tug away at it,
I guess you
if you'll excuse the phrase.
try and get some leverage on it.
Yeah.
Leverage on it.
You can try
really
and
get
place
really-
your feet on either side of it, right? And really tug on it.
Give it a bit of tug.
Good old
Yeah,
pull.
pull it off if
Ah,
you
no,
can.
natural.
dear, oh
one,
dear.
So no.
It's all over your hands and your shirt, Parker.
True to form.
That's not happening. Not only that, Parker, but you feel that was a vastly misproportionate activity for the
Okay.
size of the plug. You just think,
Right.
hold up, what am I doing here? This is ridiculous. This isn't moving
Okay.
like this. This is going to require some proper
Yeah.
application of brawn and maybe tools.
So I looked round and just looked like I was sort of tapping it to test for this John
You
Cleese
tried
style.
to tug it off, but all you realised was that you needed a bigger tool.
Unbelievable.
See, Paul?
Unbelievable.
Right.
Anyway,
well,
on we go. That's pretty good. You guys have wandered quite a distance to do that, and you've all had fun. One of you's had a swim. I think we can reunite you, and let's pick up with Alessandra.
Alessandra.
There's this clearly distressed individual in the cell. There's a little corridor on the left-hand end of the corridor that you're in. So in other words, you could wander down past the cells and take a left.
Yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and see that door.
Well, it's just smaller. All of the other doors, I mean, the gates for the cells and the gates for the beast cages, they're proportionate to their function. So they're quite big. This is like a little door, you'd have to duck your head down to walk through it. That's a better way of putting it. And it just seems a little bit out of place.
There's no window in it, nothing like that. Can I have a listen at the door, please?
Yeah, are you creeping up to the door?
Oh, that was a terrible perception roll. I am creeping up to the door. Do you want a stealth check?
Yes, please.
At advantage.
Mm-hmm.
getting a 25.
What was your perception check?
Terrible, a 7.
A 7.
Mm.
You don't hear anything, but even with a 7, you can smell something. And what you can smell is brandy.
Oh.
If you've ever done a distillery tour, Paul, and I'm sure
Once
you've
or
done
twice.
many, it's that smell. It's that smell of spirits of wine, of fortified alcohol, and wood, and age.
Okay. How tall is Ranknian? Is he a human?
Well, Rachnian's a human man. I mean, let's say he's 5'8".
Okay, so it's not a... I was just thinking for a moment it might have been his office or something like that.
Well, I mean, he could be, but it smells of distilleries.
I might...
It's no sound or anything, but then you only rolled a 7.
Yeah. I'm going to have a go at opening the door.
Well, it's got one of those latches with a little ring turner thing. Yeah.
Can I try and do it
It's not
stealthily?
locked.
I'll try and do it stealthily.
Sure. Make a roll. Sure.
Sure, yeah, I'll do that, sure. Yeah, I get a 14.
Sure, make a roll.
I get a 14, yeah, sure.
14, okay.
Quietly does it.
Have you got dark vision?
Yep, yes I do.
It's a cellar. It's a wine cellar.
Oh, marvellous.
There's barrels. There are hundreds of glass bottles on shelving on the south wall. The air is thick with the smell of spirits. And something else. Give me another perception check.
Come on. Oh, God, a 9.
No, 9 is fine. It's not just distilling alcohol. There's a strong vinegar smell. And what appears odd to you is that seems to be like overpowering everything else. And it's coming from the corner of this chamber. I mean, the chamber is about 15 feet wide by about 25, 30 feet long, heading away from you.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't take you long to realise that there's a barrel that's just been set out with its lid off, and it's just full of vinegar.
Go and have a look.
Sitting in the corner of this chamber. It's just an odd thing. It's like, what's it doing? Why would anybody leave the lid off it? All it really seems to be doing is serving the purpose to release an overpowering scent and nothing else.
I will cover my mouth and nose, and I will have my crossbow and rapier in hand, and I will sneaky up to it to take a look.
There's not much to tell you about the barrel itself. It looks like it's just a barrel of vinegar that's been left open.
And when I go up to it, is it just a barrel of vinegar? Can I see into it?
You could. Well, I'm presuming that vinegar is opaque, so you can see. Yes, you can look into it. You can't see down through it.
There's nothing moving in it or anything like that.
No. Can you give me another perception check?
There's no disturbance in it.
No. There's nothing moving in the.
What is with my perception checks? I rolled a 7.
Okay, fine. Well, it's a bit weird. I don't know what to say. The fact that there was a wine cellar here would make perfect sense. You're quite near the kitchens. You're quite near the refectory. You can hear some people kind of chatting away and drinking. So you must be near some kind of leisure area.
I'll drop a bottle of wine if there's bottles of wine around, I'll drop a bottle of wine into the vinegar.
Just, I don't know, would that float? Anybody know?
Not if it's full.
It floats. I mean, it depends on how much buoyancy it has based upon how much air is still in the bottle of wine, right?
Well, if I take the cork out or something like that.
Okay, well, then it will sink into the vinegar.
Yeah.
Which it does. Absolutely no weirdness about that at all. It behaves exactly as you would expect. Something that you haven't expected ever before. A barrel of vinegar to behave when somebody puts a bottle of wine in it. I mean, how often does that happen? But,
it's a barrel of vinegar with nothing else alive.
Yeah, well, if you're hanging around there doing that, they give you another perception check.
Okay.
See if you can get...
Let's get about a 3.
More than any other time this time.
I'll get a 9.
9, okay. No, fine.
Jesus Christ. I swear, I'm going to hang around a bit. Can I hang around a bit more?
What, you're just going to stand there?
It's probably just a cleaning agent, Paul.
It's probably just a cleaning agent. But there's something strange about it.
I didn't say there's something strange about the barrel of vinegar. I said that it was difficult to explain why somebody would leave it just sitting there in the corner of this room.
Why would you have a barrel of vinegar here anyway? Well, I'm perplexed.
The smell from it is completely overpowering.
I'm perplexed. I'm going to head back to the others.
Okay. You head back to the others.
And I'm going to...
always be using the smell to obscure something.
Yeah.
Well, that's a piece of advice that Sessions is in no position to offer you at the moment, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Well, I don't know it's there, yep.
No.
But I'm heading back to the others and giving them a full account of what I've seen. I'll go, there was a mad bod in a cell. There was a barrel of vinegar, which no idea what's going on there. It just seemed a bit out of place. And they'd left the lid off and it stank. But couldn't really see much else.
I mean, if that's the sum total of your description to them without any context at all.
Well, I'll explain the layout.
Yeah, totally.
I'll explain the layout.
Yeah, you just
And
wander in
Buggy-
and go, there was a funny person in a
And it
cell
was-
and there was a
and it
barrel
was-
of vinegar.
And it's just strange. And oh, look, there's Buggy. What happened to you?
Let's say that has taken you half an hour. 10:30. What do you want to do now?
If nobody else objects, I want to go and check out this corridor with the guards on it back upstairs.
Sorry, what guards? You didn't mention any guards. You just mentioned a barrel of vinegar.
And a mad person.
No,
Yeah.
you mean Buggy's guards, right?
No, there's a corridor up there stretching away from the arena as it
On
stands.
the left or right hand side?
I think it was on the right-hand side.
Very
stretching
well
away.
done.
And there is a couple of guards down there. Don't know where it goes. Maybe nothing. Maybe just they're there because it might be an entrance in from the sewers.
I think we should check that out.
Okay.
How far is the vinegar barrel from this corridor?
Not that far. Nothing is that far, is it? Because it's all in just it's one big circle.
Yeah. I want to check out that corridor.
I want to check out that corridor. Head up there.
Okay, just as you are.
I'm going to go invisible.
Okay.
That's fine.
Do you want the pass without trace?
You'd have to come.
Right, are we not all going, or is it just a subgroup again?
Well, I tried to organise that last time, and then Buggy and Paul just went off. So,
Well, I'll tag along.
Ooh.
well, yeah,
Ooh.
okay.
I went off. I wanted to go to the pool. You wanted to go upstairs. I said, I'm going upstairs. You stayed behind.
Well, let's not, let's all just grow up and move on. Give me a quick outline of your marching order and your way of going about things. Who's going, for starters, on this little sortie?
I'm going. Alessandra's going. Of course she's
Alessandra?
going.
Is
Okay.
Parker going?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so I'll go with Parker.
So
And
Sessions,
we'll ha-
Parker, Alessandra, Burple is going. Is Buggy going?
Yeah, I'll go.
So you're all going.
Okay, so the rear group around me
Yes.
has pass without trace.
Yes, and then Burple is ahead of you, invisible.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, fine. So we'll start. Well, let's start with Burple then. Burple, you pad up the staircase. There's nobody about. You get to the hallway that you've been through before. On your left, you know that there's a corridor leading into the middle. You know that the beast cages are. To your right, there's a passageway leading off into the darkness. And after about 30 or 40 feet, what's your dark vision range?
60 feet.
About 30 feet into the passageway, there are two guards. They look bored. They're looking in your direction. And then the passageway extends off straight into darkness as far as you can see. What would you like to do?
I will press myself up against the side of the passageway.
Yes.
Shuffle a few feet down it.
Okay, can you give me a stealth check?
Great.
All of us.
4.
Okay. Well, you're going to have made a little bit of a noise with that. I mean, just see, obviously. Just make a roll. It's an opposed check. First person. Yeah. You make a little bit of noise, Burple, and both of the guards look straight at you when you do so. They can't see you. They take a couple of steps forward, and then they just do that thing where you hold to see whether or not you really have heard something, or whether or not it was just your mind playing tricks on you. But they are looking at each other. One of them goes, "Did you hear something then? What was that? I thought I did hear something. How is Muriel anyway? Is she feeling better since the procedure?" The rest of you are following up behind. What do you want to do? Do you want to hang back, or do you want to keep going?
Alessandra's gonna hang back so that she remains out of sight.
So you're not actually getting into the hallway itself. You're hanging around at the top of the stairs.
Hang
Okay.
around the corner from the passageway.
You can hear from the top of the stairs a low murmuring, like the guards are talking to each other from this passageway. And you can hear the howls of these beasts. Burple, you stuck yourself against the wall. You froze still. What do you want to do next?
I'll hold there.
Okay, so now you're all frozen. How long do you all wait around? The guards relax after about, 30 seconds to a minute and resume their relaxed stance. But, I mean, they don't go anywhere. They occasionally chat to each other in low voices. Anybody want to do anything?
Purple's got to be the one to go for it. Otherwise,
Go for what?
well, you've got to...
I'm holding.
I don't want to be Mr. Grumpy DM, but you can't have this conversation. Burple, what would you like to do?
I'm holding.
You guys, you don't know where Burple is. What do you want to do?
I'm going to hold.
Okay, so let's spin the clock. The Wheel of Days turns for the time being. Let's move things on by a minute, 2 minutes. Anybody want to stop me? 3 minutes? How long does invisibility last for?
An hour.
So let's keep time proportionate. 10 minutes. If you wait around for 10 minutes...
Can I just clarify why
Yeah.
they've no idea where Burple is?
Yeah.
What they do? I don't understand the motivation
For what?
for coming up to the top of the stairs and then just staying there.
Are you talking about Paul and the others? That's up to them.
Mm.
I'm just rolling the clock forwards, and anybody wants to put their hand up and tell me that they're doing something can tell me. What I can tell you is that if you're all holding silent, waiting for the others to do something in a sort of state of some weird sort of stasis, if we roll the clock forward, within 10 minutes, the first guard patrol comes round the orbital corridor. That sound, Alessandra and Bugroff, that you heard when you were on your little recce before, it's 2 guards. You can shrink back into the shadows of the stairs. They don't go anywhere near that. They're clearly just on a loop. They exchange greetings with the 2 guards that Burple is hiding from in the corridor, and then they just keep going on their little loop. They go past you and off they go.
Does Alessandra think that she's kind of seen most of what there is to offer up here?
You feel that you've seen certainly the surface information of most of this place and got a sense of it. Yes.
Okay.
We haven't searched anywhere, have we?
No, I haven't searched anywhere.
Can we start searching?
I think going to the workshop.
I've rolled the clock forward by 10 minutes, and all of you are all frozen in place, sort of waiting to decide what to do next. Does anybody want to change that?
Yes. Alessandra's going to follow at a distance behind the guards who are doing the patrol until she gets to the workshop. That's the plan.
They're going clockwise.
Yeah.
So you'd have to follow them all the way around. Yeah.
Yep.
Fine. Okay, you can do that. You're staying around the angle, as it were, of the curve of the corridor so that they can't see you.
Yeah.
Burple, what would you like to do?
I'm going to exit.
Give me a perception check, actually, just very quickly.
17.
That's been very good, probably.
17.
17. Okay, let's have that stealth check, Alessandra.
Stealth check from Alessandra is 20.
Okay. No, nothing, Burple.
I will exit that corridor
Yeah.
to round the corner.
Give me a stealth check as you do.
15.
Yeah, that's good stuff. The guards don't seem to react at all to you moving away.
And I will shout.
Oh.
No, I will make a sort of quiet scuffling noise.
Right, so
Like
sort of loud enough to draw somebody's attention.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, well, you hear, what was that? And these 2 guards stride out into the corridor. Alessandra, you hear the guards ahead of you stop, and they start rushing back round. You haven't got long. What would you like to do? There are a couple of little passageways heading radially away from the orbit of this thing. It's dive down one of them or brazen it out. Which would you prefer?
I'll dive down one of them.
Okay, dive down one of them. Give me a stealth check.
24.
Okay, these 2 guards come jogging past you, not in a state of high alarm, and all 4 guards collect themselves in this large hallway where Burple has made a bit of a noise. And it's like, what was that? It's like, well, we did hear. There's a conversation.
What are we trying to do here, folks?
I want to try and sidle past them while they're having a conversation.
The other 2 that have run up are kind of challenging them and asking them, well, what did you hear? And it's like, well, there was just a noise from here. It's like somebody's moving about. And it's like, well, it's probably just a couple of gladiators just wandering around. Has anybody been down there? One of them walks straight past the rest of you on the corridor without noticing you. I'll just go and see if anybody's, up and about downstairs. It's probably just a gladiator or something. The 2 that were in the corridor, Burple, they look like they're thinking about resuming their position. Do you want to try and sneak past where they were?
Yeah, exactly. I want to try and sneak past them.
Give me a stealth check when you do that.
Just wondering if there's anything I can do to boost this. I'm not sure there is, but it's
No
good. It's
need to.
22.
Okay, just making a couple of rolls here. There's a 16. Okay, they don't hear you as you pad past, and you find yourself, Burple, in a corridor that is extending, seems to be gently sloping upwards, and it goes on for a while. How far are you happy to keep padding along?
20 minutes.
20 minutes, fine. And we'll worry about you in 20 minutes or probably sooner. The others, you don't know what happened to Burple. You don't know what happened to Alessandra. She was heading off after these guards, and then they've come running back the way that she went. And what do you want to do?
I don't know, Graham?
I don't know. I don't know where anyone's gone now.
Well,
So
the 3 of us
lost.
are assumed that we know where we 3 are.
Yeah,
So where are we going then?
I don't know.
What do you want to do?
So what I didn't quite work out is,
Where do we think the vinegar is? Let's go and explore the vinegar. Where do we think that was? We
Well,
don't
you
know.
think that it involves walking down past the beast cages
Mhm.
and then into an area that Alessandra described as being a cell block.
Yeah. Well, if we have that good an explanation, shall we try and get to there?
yeah, let's go for that. Sounds good to me.
So what you want to do? Okay, so you pad off that way. Can you give me some stealth checks? You're at plus whatever zillion numbers. Alessandra, you've popped down this little side passage.
Yeah.
And the guards ran past you. What do you want to do? They
31,
go and you
yeah.
hear the sound of conversation and voices from around, clearly back where you were, back in the main
Yeah.
hall.
I think I'm going to use the opportunity of them being distracted to keep heading round towards the workshops. I know I'm taking the long way round, but
you are taking the long way around. Okay, so I'm going to leave you, Alessandra, padding your way orbitally around the outside of this understructure.
Yeah.
To 12 o'clock from where you are now, which is more like 4 o'clock. So you've got a bit of a way to go.
That's fine.
The others are heading to the winery. What numbers did you come up with your stealth checks?
17.
Session's got 31.
31.
You don't seem to excite any interest. You can find this door that Alessandra described to you. What do you want to do?
Search the room, especially near the wine barrel, the vinegar barrel. Move it aside.
Can all of you give me perception checks if you're inspecting the area around this vinegar barrel?
Yes.
Natural 20.
Oh, bug raft. There's another smell under the smell of vinegar.
Haha.
It's a smell you know well, bug raft. Of all the people to be out there with your little tiny hobbity nose in the air,
It's body odour.
it's yes.
Yep,
It's
got it.
no. It's a nasty. It's a ghoul stench, bug raft. It's the smell of
Wormy ghouls.
Wormy goes.
It's the smell of worms, bug raft. Yes, it's that smell from the Cairn Hills. You know it all too well. And the vinegar smell is like masking it. It's like it's almost been placed there deliberately.
And where is it coming from?
From behind the vinegar barrel.
Okay.
Is
what do
the
we wanna do, guys?
conspiracy to worm the whole audience or something?
Yeah.
That's going to be what they're
That sounds like
planning,
something
aren't
that happened at a vet's. Nicholas. But yeah, okay. I kind of get the general idea.
What, release all the ghouls onto the audience?
they? I mean, yeah, infect the audience with these worms or something when they order their wine.
So we have a couple of options. So we could try and move the barrel and see what's behind it. We could kick over the barrel.
The barrel is freestanding. There are wine racks behind it.
But we could also kick over the barrel so that the smell dissipates and people know there's the ghouly smell.
How is anybody going to smell it anyway? It's in this tiny room, down a small side corridor, down in the basement.
Yeah, but presumably this is to hide it from the, I don't know,
Someone.
the serving personnel or whatever who are coming in and out, and
This looks like a real wine cellar. This doesn't look like a pretend wine cellar that's been set up as a front.
when they sell the wine to the audience, this is where they get it from, right? Or is this
yes, well, certainly,
wine for the
certainly-
contestant?
Possibly, that might be brought in from the outside, but certainly this might be the wine cellar that serves all of this understructure, the staff,
Yeah.
the guards. Yeah.
Is there any good wine here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a perfectly serviceable wine cellar with hundreds of bottles of wine, barrels, which you think might contain brandy.
Is the stench of the worms coming from, like, there's another...
The stench of the worm seems to be concentrated around the wall behind the northeastern wall of the wine cellar.
And there's no...
That's where the vinegar barrel is.
Right, but so
Any
is the
posh wine?
walls... Are these walls free from wine? Where the actual...
No, there are wine racks all around you.
Right,
Only
okay.
posh wine.
Yes, there's posh wine, yes.
I'm going to take the most expensive wine. I'm going to take about 2 crates and stick it in my bag of holding.
Okay, what with the whole suit of armour and
The piano.
Yeah, will fit.
and the piano and Wolverhampton. I think we've already established. Yeah.
But I'm only taking the really posh stuff.
So
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
can I
Yep.
investigate? So where Buggy thinks the smell is
Give me a
coming
perception. Give me a perception check.
Lucas, you don't need to investigate. We know it was Buggy.
Yeah, we know it was buggy.
What?
Yeah.
What?
We
Don't worry.
blame him, but we still drink the wine.
Give me a perception check.
from?
Nice.
18 plus something or other.
You find something.
Aha.
It looks like there's not something quite right about one of the sections of wine rack behind the barrel in the northeastern corner
That's
of the
what
room.
I was going for. So it's sort of...
And
yeah.
you realise that it's not real. That the wine bottles and the rack itself, they're all just one contiguous thing.
Yeah.
It's when you try and move one of the wine bottles
Yeah.
that it doesn't move. You realise that you're looking at a pretend
Full
section.
door thing.
Give me an investigation
Oh.
check. At the same time, let's just zoom over to Burple. Burple, you're padding down this corridor. You've gone now a couple of 100 feet at least. It's still sloping up. And can you give me a perception check?
24.
24, you notice something, Purple. There is a very faint, glowing sigil inscribed on the roof of this corridor. It's about 30 feet ahead of you. Honestly, it needed a perception check in that kind of area to spot it.
That's a glyph.
Another 4 or 5 feet, and you might have been too late to notice it.
Yeah.
And you can also hear the sound of some kind of motion and movement coming from the darkness ahead of you. I mean, not proximate to you, but meanwhile, back with the guys in the wine cellar, your investigation
Was
check.
a 15.
Yeah, that's good enough. You find a little catch mechanism, and the bit of wine cellar wall swings open, revealing a little passageway, like a sort of 5 foot wide, 10 foot long passageway, and a set of stairs that you can see leading down.
Yeah.
And as you look into that, the ghoul scent, it's almost overwhelming. The ghoul reek wafts up from the staircase, and you can just feel a sense of corruption kind of wash over you as you look into this darkness. And we will find out more about what you've discovered next week.
Oh, no. Just when it was getting interesting.
Yeah.
The Billowing Hilltop podcast is a Billowing Hilltop production. Dungeons & Dragons is a trademark of Wizards of the Coast. The Champion's Belt and Age of Worms are copyright Paizo. The Champion's Belt was written by Tito Lietti. Music is from Kevin MacLeod and Incompetech.com and is used with thanks under the Creative Commons license. Additional music and sound effects come from the wonderful Sirenscape. All other original material is copyright Billowing Hilltop. Role-playing games are all about getting people together, and we use Roll20 as our tabletop, the perfect place to host your game, and Discord to host our chat. Thanks for listening.
Wait, what is happening?
We're going to record a promo right now.
We're record an advert.
We're going to record an advert. Hi, we're at the D&D show, the Dungeons and Dragons. No, somebody else's go.
Job done.
We are a Dungeons and Dragons actual play podcast. Though sometimes we don't play Dungeons and Dragons. Sometimes we play other games like Call of Cthulhu. That's about all we've done so far. Scratch that. Take 4. Hi.
Oh, you're a dickhead. You're a dickhead.
Hi, my name's Luke. I'm the host of a podcast called The Dice and Die Show.
What do you do?
Well, largely we just play D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, but sometimes some other stuff too. We also talk shit for half an hour, talking about films, movies. They're the same as films, really. But yeah, we talk about we play Dungeons and Dragons. It's an actual play podcast. If that's your thing, then check us out. The Dice and Die Show, D&D show. Give us a listen. See what you think.
Boom.
That is one of the most confusing promos I've ever heard in my entire life.